Y'all, believe it or not, we're diving into 2024's worst flicks already. Yeah, Hollywood's been busy. Welcome back to the Replay Media. Now, I know some of y'all are thinking, but Replay 2024 just kicked off. How we got a worst list already? Let's just say it didn't take long for Hollywood to give us some gems, or should I say, rocks. Alright, so we kicked off the year with a hot take, remember? I had us all believing Mean Girls was about to take the crown for the worst of 2024. My bad, y'all. Turns out, it ain't even touching the top 10 anymore.
That totally makes sense to me.
Madam Web.
Never giving up.
Now let's get into Madam Web, the cinematic facepalm of 2024.
Mythical spider people who run across the treetops and punish evil men with their black poison touch.
Let's get straight to it. Dakota Johnson was front and center in a superhero movie that felt all over the place. Honestly, it seemed like the plot couldn't decide which direction to jump next. Sony stepped in, probably hoping to pull it all together, but honestly, it just left us all wondering what the plan was from the start. The dialogue, like reading a bad tweet, short, confusing, and leaving you wondering, that's it?
I don't know.
Visuals were throwing back to the early 2000s, but not in a cool retro way, more like, oops, we forgot to evolve. And our villain Ezekiel? If villains had a clearance section, he'd be the first pick. Props to the cast for trying to light up this dark room with a single matchstick of chemistry, but even that couldn't save this shipwreck. Madam Web. Proving not all superhero movies are heroes. Sony, baby, let's chat. This ain't it. Lisa Frankenstein. Next up on our why the did they do this to us list is Lisa Frankenstein. This flick tried to mix up the old school horror vibe with some high school drama. Directed by Zelda Williams in her debut and penned by Diablo Cody, who honestly must have been on a different wavelength from her Juno days because this script was just disappointing. Catherine Newton as Lisa was out there doing her best, playing this outcast, trying to juggle high school and her new zombie boyfriend. Yeah, that's right. Lightning strikes and bam, boyfriend from the grave. It sounds kinda cool, but nah, it's not. The movie's got this 80s vibe it wanted to cash in on, but ended up more like a bad costume party. In the end, Lisa Frankenstein tries to drop some deep truths and growing up vibes, but it all gets lost in a mix of tired jokes and a storyline that's running on fumes. When it finally wraps, you're just relieved it's done. Honestly, this one's an easy skip, leaving you thinking about what could have been if it had any real spark. Lift. Alright, sliding into our better luck next time list is Lift. Now Kevin Hart and Netflix have been like PB&J, but Lift? Damn.
It's a hard pass for me.
Directed by F. Gary Gray, who's trying to bounce back from Men in Black International, this heist comedy is supposed to be slick and clever, but it's like they went shopping with a Heist Movies for Dummies book, picking out all the cliches and none of the charm. Kevin Hart stepping into the role of a smooth criminal just doesn't fit right. The movie takes us around the world on an art theft adventure that feels too familiar, and honestly, it's more tiring than exciting.
Are you sure this is safe?
The romantic subplot completely lacks the spark, and the heist itself comes off like an odd, unfunny tutorial on YouTube. Even with Netflix throwing money at the screen for some flashy visuals, it can't hide the fact that we've seen this story too many times before. Lift had the potential to be thrilling, but it just doesn't deliver. It tries to take us on this high-flying journey, but lands way off the mark, showing that even Kevin Hart can't make every role work. Lift is a big fat miss. Netflix, Kevin Hart, love you guys, but this ain't it.
To the world's first heist of an NFT.
Argyle. Guys, Argyle had me hyped, thinking Matthew Vaughn was about to deliver another hit like Kingsman or Kick-Ass. But man, was I led astray, feeling like those Taylor Swift fans decoding fake theories. Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell team up in a spy story that promises thrills, but delivers the cinematic equivalent of fast food, with an A-list cast featuring Henry Cavill,
Do you do the whirly bird?
John Cena,
I'm about to enjoy a delicious Greek coffee.
Samuel L. Jackson, and Dua Lipa.
Agent Argyle.
You'd expect fireworks. Instead, Cavill's more a cameo than a lead, and the rest hardly get their due. The plot's a maze, leaving me to hit up Wikipedia just to follow along. The special effects? Think budget cosplay rather than blockbuster. However, Howard and Rockwell add some sparkle to the rubble, and Vaughn's action choreography shines through the gloom. Argyle, it's a swing and a miss. Skip this one.
Finally. A little acknowledgement.
Spaceman.
189 days. Welcome back, Commander Prohatska.
Alright, let's talk Spaceman. Now, if you're wondering what Adam Sandler's Happy Gilmore, Uncut Gems, and Spaceman have in common, I'll save you the suspense. Absolutely nada. Spaceman sends Sandler to space to chill with a space spider voiced by Paul Dano.
Show me, skinny human.
Aiming to tackle his astronaut's emotional baggage. Sounds like an epic journey, right? But despite the potential for another Sandler gem, the execution falls short. Chemistry with Carey Mulligan? It's missing in action. The film tries to captivate with some stellar CGI and moments of visual flair, yet ends up adrift between being too weird and too earnest, missing the Sandler magic. So, is it worth the watch?
How can I even see this?
If you're curious about Sandler's cosmic adventure, maybe give it a shot. Otherwise, it's a detour on Sandler's career path that's more curiosity than classic. Here's hoping his next project sticks the landing.
I just want to come home.
Imaginary. Imaginary from Blumhouse, directed by Jeff Wadlow. It's like they threw horror, sci-fi, and a sprinkle of why into a blender and forgot to put the lid on. DeWanda Wise is trying to play stepmommy dearest in a haunted house, bonding with her stepkids and their imaginary friend Chauncey, who's not exactly the friendly ghost type.
You almost had me convinced that he was real.
Blumhouse is unpredictable. Sometimes they're on point, other times not so much. Imaginary is a miss for me. It's got a plot that's way too dense, and the dialogue, extremely flat. Looking for scares? Hope you like waiting. Gore? Only in your imagination. It's like they wanted to scare us, but decided to play it safer than a night in with locked doors and a warm blanket. In short, Imaginary is less hide behind the sofa and more might as well scroll through your phone. For a movie bragging about imagination, it kinda forgot to use any. 10 out of 10 for the nap I took halfway through.
Boring!
Bob Marley, One Love.
My goal is to unify the people through the message of His Imperial Majesty.
Man, Bob Marley, One Love tried to jam into the musical biopic scene, but ended up more like a record scratch on Marley's legacy. Directed by Reynaldo Marcus Green, this movie skates over Marley's life, breezing through critical moments, leaving the richness of Marley's legacy and his impactful politics somewhere in the rear view.
Smile Jamaica is a non-political event.
Between the questionable wigs and awkward dialogue,
I feel good. Yeah, man, feel good.
It's more like watching a rigid school play than a tribute to a musical icon. It tries to hit on key events like the Smile Jamaica concert and Marley's creative process, but lands scenes so flat, you'd think they were gunning for the most unremarkable moment in cinema. With Benadir at the helm trying to bring Marley to life, he finds himself lost in a portrayal that doesn't mesh, leaving you hoping it's all just a mix-up. One Love? More like one big letdown. Here's hoping for a retake that truly captures Marley's spirit. Ricky Stenicki.
Ricky Stenicki. Dumb shit.
Alright, let's dive into Ricky Stenicki, the comedy that had us all asking, why though?
Okay. It sucks. I'm embarrassed for you.
Thank you.
Peter Farrelly decided to take us back to the dude comedy era, but it feels like we hopped in a time machine and landed in the middle of a joke desert. The film's got Zac Efron, Andrew Santino, and Jermaine Fowler blaming all their wild antics on their imaginary buddy Ricky, until they gotta make him real. Enter John Cena as Rod, the actor hired to bring Ricky to life. And you'd think we're set for laughs, right? Wrong. What we got is a bunch of played out jokes, cringe comedy that makes you want to hide, and a script that's throwing punches in the dark. Efron and Cena try to save this ship from sinking, with Cena doing the heavy lifting, dressed as Britney Spears, no less. But even their charm can't polish this, let's just call it what it is, a mess.
Stop! Hey, what? Okay. If I go back, they'll kill me.
Farrelly, man, we know you got more in you than this. Night Swim. Adding to 2024's horror lineup, we got Night Swim, a flick that's more like a light splash in the kiddie pool of supernatural chillers. Bryce McGuire steps up to direct, turning a short film into a full-length dive with some big names like James Wan and Jason Blum in the producer seats. The story? Wyatt Russell's Ray and his fam are trying to settle in Milwaukee. They snag a house with a pool that hasn't seen action in 15 years.
All right, we're good to go.
It sounds cool until they find out this pool's got more relationship baggage than a reality TV dating show finalist. Things start getting weird, from haunted pool lights to visions that'll have you side-eyeing your bathtub. Ray's health is magically getting better thanks to his new aquatic routine, but his kids, they're not having any of it. And Eve, played by Carrie Condon, has to piece together their pool's murky past. Turns out the pool's history is more tangled than last year's Christmas lights.
It'll be over soon.
And the storytelling is flat. Condon does what she can, but even she can't keep this film from sinking. Night Swim tries to make a splash with its deep end mysteries, but ends up just treading water in the shallow end of horror. Book of Clarence. Slide into the Book of Clarence, and you might find yourself praying for the exit. Directed by James Samuel, this religious epic starring Lakeith Stanfield as a street hustler in AD 33 Jerusalem is like turning water into wine, if by wine you mean flat soda. The film tries to blend political commentary with biblical times comedy, but ends up wandering the desert of good taste without a map. Stanfield's Clarence is slinging weed and betting on chariot races against Mary Magdalene. Yes, you heard that right. The plot's a mix of half-baked ideas and historical hijinks that feels like it's trying to serve loaves and fishes, but ends up with crumbs. When Clarence tries to dodge a debt by pretending to be a messiah,
I am your new messiah.
the joke's on us, because the punchlines are as lost as a camel in a needle's eye. Samuel's got style, no doubt, and Stanfield's usually a beacon of brilliance. But even they can't save the Book of Clarence from sinking into the sea of forgettable flicks. It's a gospel, according to who now?
What is wrong with you?
And there you have it, the early scoop on this year's cinematic roller coaster that had us all doing double takes. But don't sweat it, we're only in April.
It hasn't happened yet.
This list is subject to change. Movies are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get as the year rolls on. Plus, diving into these flicks, no matter how off the wall, gives us a reason to chill together and find some gems in the rough. So stay tuned to the Replay Media, where we don't just watch movies, we experience them together. Until next time, guys, peace out.